Bun venit la Worksounds, un podcast despre muncă și HR, despre transformare și viitor, despre agilitate și progres. Worksounds este realizat de BusinessMark, o companie de organizare evenimente business ce crede în puterea schimbului de idei și a conversațiilor autentice între profesioniști. Hello everybody and welcome to a Worksounds special episode. I am Andreea Drăgan, co-founder of BusinessMark, producer of this podcast, and the very happy host of today's episode. We are recording live from Marriott Hotel in Bucharest, right here at the Magnetico conference. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Eva Baluchova, a keynote speaker in today's conference and also a special guest for this episode. Eva is the global employer branding lead at Danfoss and has over 13 years of experience in talent acquisition, recruitment, and brand strategy. She's worked across agencies, in-house roles, and consulting, helping companies build strong teams, optimize hiring, and shape authentic employer brands. Welcome, Eva, and thank you so much for flying to Bucharest.
Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
The topic for today, at least your speech, will be about employee advocacy, and I want to talk some more about that during this episode. And I would start from the top.
Okay, right on.
Is top management usually open to the idea of employee advocacy, to employee advocacy programs?
So that's a very good question. And I would say that most of the time that I see that the top management is not always open to it immediately. Sometimes that openness comes a bit later with a bit of proof. The most resistance that I can see is related to the three things. It's either fear, control, or money issues that the top management has. And my maybe biggest pet peeve when it comes to the concern from top management that I really don't like is often I get this question that if our employees will be on LinkedIn, whether they will be now headhunted because they are more online, so they will be more likely to be headhunted. So I don't like that because if we don't let our employees be visible, then that's not a very good retention strategy. So it's not good to have a fear-based culture.
Do you feel like there are certain steps that need to be made before starting an employee advocacy program? Some kind of evaluation, audit maybe? What do you think?
My answer would be yes and no. I don't do crazy long 40 pages audit. But it's important that you get a clarity in advance. So you do a little research. You want to find out things like, why do you need actually employee advocacy program? What are you trying to solve, right? Like, are you trying to improve employer brand awareness? Do you want more leads? Do you want to attract more talent? Do you want more employee engagement? So you need to really interview the management, the middle management. But you as well want to also find out why employees don't post right now or why they are not doing the things. Is it because they don't have time? Is it because they don't want to talk about the company? Is it because they just don't know how, right? And there are as well other things you want to prepare, the steps you want to do ahead is you want to also answer things like, if you're gonna start this program, like, do you have any money for it? And who would you choose to be the ambassador? What will be the approach? So to back to my answer towards your question, no, you don't need like heavy audit, but you definitely need to do a little homework, groundwork to get the clarity why actually you're doing, why you would like to do such a program.
What kind of tactics do you usually use to encourage people to post, to share content? What has proved to be useful and efficient?
Yeah. Oh, hard question. So what we do at Danfoss Ambassador Program, we are following, or we are doing like 5 things that on all 5 levels we encouraging our employees to post. So number one, we try to inspire our employees. So we try to share internally the success stories. We share the post of our ambassadors in order to inspire others to post, right? Because sometimes you don't know you want to post until you see somebody else post it.
Yeah.
So we try to inspire ambassadors. Then we try to as well bring structure. So because what we see in our program is if we give structure to our ambassadors, a structure that is easy to follow, they're more likely to as well post. A third thing that we do is a training. You need to train people in order for them to be confident to post, in order for them to not be scared, not be insecure about posting, you need to train them, you need to make them confident. And then you want to recognize people. So if you're giving them spotlights and you're recognizing the good behavior, you're giving them praises and thank yous, and even like a comment on their post from a top leader, it would boost their confidence again and they would like to post more. And last but not least is a community. So by building a community where is that peer recognition, where the people can learn from each other, see each other, admire each other, that as well make them post more.
That makes a lot of sense. You mentioned, I remember in another conference that everybody has a story, but usually people are very shy or don't trust those stories to be worth sharing. So they have all these doubts, and as I understand, this is how you somehow remove those doubts and empower them, right? Because they need to be seen and to, I don't know, to have this kind of courage, right?
Yeah, it's interesting how many people feel not interesting.
Yeah.
It's like so many people have doubts about themselves. Like I hear so many ambassadors, and I was like that also. Like I would think that who I am to post about my experiences, who would be even interested in stories like me. And we are so like depth in our life and about in our work that we forget that anything what we do during the day, it's worth sharing, and it might be inspiring for somebody. So what we do in our program is that we are normalizing the day of our ambassadors. Like,
So letting of the pressure.
yeah, and as well, don't think of too big thing. Like, don't think that you need to always post about such a big thing, like a big learning, big milestone. Yeah. No, you can just post about you having a coffee right now. And just take a picture and just go. So we try to normalize those daily activities of what they do, that everything, whatever they do, any movement is kind of story. And how we are doing it is that we are trying to teach them that they don't need to be expert to share experience. And what we do is that, for example, weekly, we giving them these topics to share about. So, and it's like a short topics, like what is the thing that stuck with you from last week? What was your biggest moment in this Monday? So we're giving them every week this very little ideas. What is like the biggest learning thing you learned from a colleague? So we're giving them these little topics every week to realize that you only share experience. You don't need to be thought leader or expert. So that's helping.
So like when it comes to the content they are sharing, basically you're sharing some ideas and then it's up to them, or are you somehow curating the content? What's your perspective on that matter?
Yeah. So we approach it, how I call it, with freedom and fuel.
Oh, yeah.
So they have freedom. We're giving them these ideas like, hey, post about your day, what you learn, about your colleague. And they can post, they don't have to. We're giving them as well like an inspirational bag, basically. Like here, if you don't know what to post, here are the topics you can post. So we're giving them some one-pagers, and they have templates and lists where they can just freestyle on their own, and they can post with the maximum freedom. But we are as well fueling them with our company content. So sometimes you don't have inspiration, and sometimes you don't have mood to talk about yourself, and that's fully okay. Sometimes you just want to share something. So we also giving them a content library of our pre-written and pre-created posts. And as well, we're giving them this of all kind of libraries of all kind of topic. Because if you want to get employees to post your content, you really need to, first of all, make it easy to share. But second of all, you have to give a variety. So you cannot just brag about your company, like, oh, these are our products, this is what we do. But you really need to go deeper. So you need to share about culture, about those behind the scenes, team buildings, team activities. Maybe you celebrating the diversity days. Yeah. So you want to offer that content. And also, like what we see at our ambassadors, they love to post about other colleagues.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, oh, my colleague, I know, Joanna is working in Poland and she's an amazing recruiter. This is her story. So we're creating these stories of our ambassadors for other ambassadors to share.
And it's nice for the culture as well.
Yeah. And also it's important to give some educational content for them to share. So for example, because personally also, I'm building my own personal brand, and the educational content is the hardest to build. But as well, LinkedIn very much appreciate, for example, educational content. And I see for our ambassadors, that's the hardest one, because that's where you need to start showing a little more expertise, right? You need to start sharing kind of opinion on what you know.
Yeah.
So they are very little, not many ambassadors actually following or sharing now educational content. So we try to give them some. So let them spread education about, for example, hiring process at the Danfoss, or what are the interview practices, how to write CV, for example, or what are the good onboarding stories, how things are done at the Danfoss. So we try to build some of that content for them also.
And that's also very much appreciated, I bet, by the candidates and everyone that, wants to have this insight.
And you have to trust your employees. You have to give them the freedom. You cannot just expect that they will be only sharing things that you want them to share. Otherwise, it will be not authentic.
Yeah, exactly. And authenticity is definitely one of the main concerns in the employee advocacy. So
very true.
Basically, to keep a program, or to make or design a employee advocacy program authentically, you need to give them some freedom.
A lot of freedom. Yeah. And it's hard, because I get it that you are maybe... you try to be brand risk averse, you are afraid that what if they will post about something we don't like, or what if they will hurt reputation. But seriously, it's rarely happening, because if somebody really want to be ambassador, want to be advocate for your company, they don't sign up to be in a program to now bash you online. So companies need to just trust employees that they are professionals and they are adults.
Not just assume some bad intentions.
It's like, I'm leaning to talk badly about your company. Why I would do that? Why people? Of course, there's always here and there person like that. But really, in this world of attention spam, people scrolling on LinkedIn like crazy. You have literally 3 seconds to get somebody's attention on the LinkedIn. And maybe they see your post for 10 seconds. So even if it's bad post about your company, really people will forget about that post quite quickly. And in that 10 seconds, it cannot burn down the company. So it cannot really hurt the reputation. I mean, depends what will be posted, but it's not that risky.
That brings me to my last question. I would like to know your opinion regarding the most frequent mistakes that professionals do in in their employee advocacy programs. I bet there are a lot. What's your top?
Where to start? Where to start? So the biggest common mistake is that you treat it like a campaign or you treat employees like a content machines.
Yeah.
So you just giving them posts and you expect them immediate efforts without enabling them, for example. And that's the second mistake, that you give them the post, but you don't, for example, train them. Yes. Or you don't incentivize with anything. Like, I'm not saying you have to always pay, but if you don't pay, then at least give people attention and recognition, and give them those training and support. Many companies also are creating company posts that completely not talking about reality that is in the company. That it's whatever you're presenting, it's not happening. So that's why people as well don't want to post it. Yes. As well, what I don't like, and it doesn't work, is where people concentrating too much on KPIs, about those vanity measures like reach and likes and engagement. Like, I think companies should be just grateful that there are some volunteers who voluntarily post. Maybe it's not that much important how much reach they are getting, because sometimes it's maybe that one reach, that one ex-colleague of theirs see their post and they immediately apply, right? So not concentrating too much about on the metrics, but concentrate about happiness of those ambassadors and the stories that goes out, how you showcasing yourself, what's maybe the adaptation, participation of those ambassadors. That's what I would say. And biggest mistake is if you want to have control, you want to approve everything.
Yeah,
that doesn't work. Like, seriously, authenticity and control don't go together. You either have to choose. You either want to have authenticity that's gonna bring you better engagement, better employer branding awareness, more relatable stories, or you want to have a control, but then you're not gonna get those things. Yeah. So that I do often. I see companies that they want both, and then they're surprised that it doesn't work. And maybe last mistake that I see, that people concentrate too much on the tool, rather than just a bit of that process, that community building. Like, you're busy with bringing the biggest tool, the most expensive tool to do the videos or that, but you didn't yet create from those employees, those content creators, like you didn't get them yet the mindset of being on brand, didn't train them. So yeah, those are, I think, the mistakes I see.
I love them. And I love this discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva, for being here again, and for everything you have shared with us. And thank you all for listening and watching us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for listening. Don't forget.
Mulțumim că ați ascultat Worksounds, un podcast BusinessMark.